Hello, welcome to our podcast. I'm Dolly.
And I'm Jolene.
And we're here to weird you out.
With sex.
Dolly, what content warnings are there for us today?
In this book, there's discussion of illegal poaching, animal attacks, misogyny, toxic masculinity, and exoticism of tribal peoples.
Listener discretion is advised. On with the show. Welcome to the Womanly Portal podcast.
On this podcast, we discuss explicit books in explicit detail.
And we say fuck a lot.
Listener discretion is advised.
This podcast is not for people under the age of 18.
On with the show. Hi, welcome to our podcast. I'm Jolene.
And I'm Dolly.
And we're here to weird you out.
With sex.
You did not sound enthusiastic about it this time.
Oh. With sex.
Okay, let me tell you about the book that I read this week because I just finished it an hour ago.
Perfect.
Great.
What is it called?
So, this book is called Golden Eyes. Not like 007. Not cool like that. Golden Eyes because her eyes are golden. Very on the nose. And it's part of an anthology by, let me find out, by Maya Banks. And the anthology is called Wild. I think this is one of the very few books or anthologies that she maybe self-published or did with a different publisher than her regular one because it's incredibly difficult to find. It's insanely hard to find these days in print. I listened to it. I don't know why my library has this book. I'm gonna be so real. And I did find this one by itself on Kindle, but normally when you buy it in an anthology.
Okay.
They're very, very short, and I think there's 4 of them, and in every single one of them, the female lead is also a shifter into animals, Avi. So the main character of this book, her name is Aaliyah, and she is a cheetah shifter. It feels like I'm giving you that info early, but I'm not. The book gives you this info in the first 10 minutes, so don't worry about it.
Aaliyah the cheetah?
Aaliyah the cheetah.
All right.
So the book opens up. A cheetah is running through the forest.
Okay.
She's being chased by poachers. She's in pain. She's exhausted. She cannot stop running because of her safety. So because she's exhausted, she physically transforms from cheetah into a woman who is described as having golden eyes and honey-colored hair.
Okay.
That's all the description that we get. She is small, she has honey-colored hair, and golden eyes. It is explained here that when she's in her human form, she heals faster. So she's trying to heal herself because she's exhausted. But the poachers catch up to her, so she just immediately shifts again.
What?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just stay in a human form?
Because she's naked.
I'm sure that would distract them.
And scared. Well, I probably would. It distracts everybody else in the book. So
listen, if this was a porno.
Yeah. Also, we're going to learn that Aaliyah is not really the smartest.
Well.
So, her instincts take over a lot, and her instincts aren't always great.
Okay.
So she transforms again. The hunters get closer, and she gets shot with an arrow right in the hip.
Oh.
And it is not a clean hit. Okay. I'm going to say right now, I know absolutely nothing about hunting. Okay.
Oh,
I know.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
I'm so glad that doesn't surprise you. Maya Banks does. Her whole bio on her website, 50% of it is about how she's a Texan woman who grew up hunting and around hunters. So she knows a lot about hunters.
Okay.
Okay. That being said, that is where we leave Aaliyah for right now. Okay. We have that scene. We immediately shift over to our male lead, who is the sheriff of this small town in Colorado, which I did not catch the name of. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. His name is Duncan Kennedy.
Let's call it Cheetah Haven.
Cheetah Haven. That's right. Cheetah Haven, Colorado. So this is where we find out that we are in Colorado.
Okay.
It is November. Hunting season doesn't even start for another 2 weeks. Okay. But people have been seeing hunters on the mountains and reporting them to the sheriff for weeks.
Okay.
At the same time, people are also reporting weird animals being sighted. Somebody saw a tiger. Somebody saw a really for real African lion. And they're like, these should not be on the Colorado mountains in the middle of November. What the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
And Sheriff Duncan's like, y'all are crazy. What the fuck ever. I don't
Occam's
believe you.
razor. Like, would you? If somebody was like, there is a lion out there, you'd be like, what have you been smoking?
Yeah. No, for real. And that's like his vibe is he's like, look, I'll look into it, but I don't really think that's what's happening. This is when we get Duncan lore. We found out that when he was in high school, his parents died in some sort of accident. And
Poachers?
probably Probably. They were hunting the most dangerous game. The townspeople, like, took care of him after that. They started making sure he was going to school. They don't explain who in the town. It just sounds like the entire town got together to make sure this kid would graduate high school. Yeah. They made sure he had money to go to college, and he got a law enforcement degree. And he came back here to become the sheriff of this town as a way to, like, repay them for their kindness.
There is nothing that repays the kindness of somebody putting you through college, like giving them a speeding ticket.
Policing their town. He's like, his whole vibe is like, I'm keeping you safe.
Okay.
Like, I'm keeping the town safe. From lions and tigers and bears, oh my.
Yes.
Literally. So when he hears all of this from the townsfolk, he's like, I personally am going to go up in the mountains by myself to find out if there are illegal poachers and lions from Africa in the mountains alone with my rifle. And
this really easily could have been a horror film.
It really could have been. Like, It starts out that way. Like, he goes up there and he sees the poachers with their arrows and whatever, and he points his rifle at them and he fires a warning shot right in front of them. They don't know he's there. They don't see him. They just run off. And I'm like, is this how this works? I don't know. I'm not a cop. I don't know cops. Fuck if I know.
No.
So he fires a warning shot and he sees a blood trail that they were tracking. They were tracking a kill, and he can tell that it wasn't a clean cut because there's not a lot of blood. Again, I don't know anything about hunting. So when he investigates, he finds a cheetah laying with an arrow sticking out of its leg. And he's like, what kind of animal is this? What could this possibly be? This is such a weird animal. And I'm like, sir, did you not grow up with zoo books? What is going on? How do you possibly not recognize a cheetah right in front of you? He's like less than 10 feet away from her.
That is crazy.
It was driving me nuts. And then all of a sudden he's like, if I didn't know any better, I'd say this is a cheetah. And I'm like, sir, you already know people are seeing wild animals up here. Are you the stupidest of all time?
Is this the lion and bear that everybody's been telling me about?
Is this a lion? Is this a polar bear? What's happening? So he, I have so many notes about that. I'm like, dude. So for some reason, he knows for sure that there's not a single zoo in Colorado that's missing a cheetah. He just has that memorized.
Well, I do feel like they would probably have that alert out.
Yeah.
If they were like, fuck.
Well, I mean, sure, but like, I guess, I don't know. I'm really hard on him in this book, but I'm like, do you know for sure? Are you going to check?
He didn't even know what a cheetah was.
Yeah.
So I feel like
you should check. So then he guesses the plot of the book right off the top. And he's like, was she possibly imported by illegal poachers so that they could hunt them for fun? That could never happen. What? That's so weird. That's probably just a weird theory. And I'm like, okay, great. So we have the plot of the book already. Whatever. What the fuck else could it possibly be, sir?
Yeah.
What the fuck else?
So now he believes there's tigers.
So now he believes that there's tigers and lions, possibly.
And bears.
And maybe bears. Well, it's Colorado, so there's probably fucking bears.
Oh my.
Oh my. So he like goes up to her. He's like, oh no, cheetah hurt. What do I do? But I don't want to get eaten. And instead of eating him, she house cats him. She like gets up, walks around him like a ton, like just walking fine.
With a thing
with
out
an
of her
arrow
hip?
sticking out of her hip. She walks around him like 3 or 4 times and rubs up against his leg like a house cat and is purring and is like making cheetah sounds. You know how cheetahs like meow instead of roar? Mm-hmm. She's like making little meows and like rubbing up against him. And he's like, this is wild. And so
One more time.
This is wild. That's what he sounds like. And he's like, well, obviously you can't walk, even though she's been walking around him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he lays down his jacket and is like, how am I going to coax her to lay down on top of this jacket so I can like pull her through the woods? And instead of needing to coax her, she just does.
Ah.
And then he pulls the sleeves of the jacket and pulls her for a good long time until one of the poachers holds him at gunpoint out of nowhere.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Who does that?
Poachers.
Okay.
And like, you have to imagine he's like wearing his sheriff's badge, right?
Yes.
This is small town
Why would you
Colorado.
show yourself to the man who just fired a warning shot at you?
Yeah.
But also to the police when you are very much doing something illegal.
Yeah, no, and he holds this man at gunpoint with a fucking rifle and is like, that's my kill, thank you very much. I'll be taking it, please. And the sheriff dude is like, no, thank you. And then the cheetah gets up and mauls this man.
Okay.
Yeah, she just goes apeshit. And I wish to high heaven I could just like play you the clip. I wish I could just play you the clip because that's how it's described, is she just goes apeshit
Oh my
on
God.
this man. You'll find out later he is not like dead or anything. Okay. She just destroyed his hand. It is later described as though it went through a meat grinder.
Why did she aim for his hand?
Because that's what was holding the gun, I guess.
Oh, so
She's
she
trying
was
to
just
disarm him.
Okay.
Yeah, she's trying to disarm him. So then he scampers off with meat grinder hand and his rifle. Oh no, his rifle got thrown into the bush. So Duncan grabs the rifle and then he pulls her all the way back to his truck. And at the truck, he like loads her into the back of the truck, arrow and all, and then calls the local veterinarian and is like not getting an answer. And he's like, damn, what am I gonna do? The vet won't pick up, so I guess it's all on me. And I'm like, sir, look for some other resources. Call one of those zoos. Call, I don't know,
Or go to the vet.
a wildlife rescue center. It's Colorado.
Yeah.
So he does go to the vet.
Okay.
The vet is not there.
Oh,
The
yeah.
whole place is dark. Which apparently this vet, and again, small town Colorado, he runs the veterinary clinic out of his house.
Okay.
Like he lives there and it's a clinic.
Okay.
So the truck's not there, so the vet's not there.
Okay.
right? So he drives the cheetah back to his house.
Oh.
In his mud room. Okay, I don't have a mud room, but aren't they small?
Yeah, they're
They're
fairly
little.
small.
They're little.
Yeah.
And his little cabin is described as a very small cabin.
Yeah.
Like a 2-bedroom cabin. So in his mud room, he puts out a plate with a raw steak on it and a dish of water and pushes the cheetah in there and locks the door. And
What?
then, like, goes to take
Locks
a
it
shower.
or just shuts it?
I think he locks it.
Okay.
And he just like takes a shower. And then he calls the vet again and he leaves a message that's just like, call me when you can. And then he gets a call from his friend Nick, who is like an officer that works under him. And somehow Nick has already heard that Duncan got into a bit of trouble.
What?
That's in quotes, got into a bit of trouble.
Nick's
in
with the
less than
poachers.
an hour. Okay, you would think.
Yeah.
You would think.
Well, who else saw him? Unless
Nobody.
the cheetah made a damn phone call
No,
to Nick.
I'm like, how the fuck did Nick find out? And I think the only thing that could possibly have done it is Duncan puts out an APB on illegal hunters. He's like, we're looking for some poachers. If you find them, tell me.
Okay.
And then Nick is like, I heard you got into trouble. And I'm like, what? What?
All right.
So anyway, after he takes a shower, he calls it a night. And he eats half a sandwich, and then he goes back into the mudroom to check on the cheetah to discover, gasp, a naked woman. What? And the naked woman has an arrow hitting or shooting out of her hip. What? Which is not a surprise to us, but it is a surprise to Duncan. And that's when she's described. Ba, 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 ba. Oh yeah, so I
Does
wrote,
she meow?
no.
All right.
She's
She
like,
knows English?
no. She knows English. Yes. She talks better than Duncan does. That's for damn sure.
Who taught her English?
Well, we'll get to that. 'cause
Okay,
we
thank
get
you.
a Leah lore at several different spots. So it's pretty damn obvious that she's a cheetah. Even Duncan figures that one out and he's a dumbass. She speaks, so it is described as she speaks English in an accent that Duncan cannot place. Okay. This is the part where when I was reading it, I was doing way too much work for the book. And I was like, are they trying to say that it's like a South African accent? Because I was making the assumption that if she's a cheetah shifter, then she probably comes from a place where there are cheetahs.
Yeah.
That was doing way too much work for the book. It is never explained what
It's
her
New
accent
York.
is. It's
She's like,
A
I'm
mid-Atlantic.
working here. Like,
it's a mid-Atlantic accent. The audiobook narrator doesn't speak in an accent. She actually speaks really monotone to the point where I thought she was like a robot for a while.
oh.
And I know that's not a her choice because I went and listened to passages from other books that she's recorded and they were totally normal. So they directed her to speak this way and it's super weird. But that's not important. Okay. So he freaks the fuck out and they have a very brief conversation. I think, well, do they? She might be passed out. I don't know. Either way, he carries her from the mudroom into the house and lays her out on the couch.
But he's figured out this is a cheetah.
Oh yeah, he figured that out.
Okay, so he's been like, cheetah too dangerous to be in my house.
But naked woman cold on the floor in the mudroom needs to go inside and be safe.
Okay.
Yeah. So
What happens when naked woman becomes cheetah again?
well, he's not sure. He's a little bit freaked out, right? But he just wants to make sure that she's safe.
Okay.
And she's already proven that she doesn't want to maul him. She purred and rubbed up
Well,
against
yeah, for now. It's
For
a wild
now.
animal.
Yeah. So the quote here, while he's carrying her, says he marveled at how she must have weighed more as a cheetah than as a human.
What the fuck?
And I looked this up. Adult female cheetahs weigh between 75 and 110 pounds. My note says, how small is this woman? That's a tiny woman.
Just a Polly Pocket.
She must be like 4'10" and skin and bones.
Yeah,
She's
or
a tiny
smaller. Yeah.
woman. Either that or this man has no concept of how much cheetahs weigh, and that's also totally fair.
Maybe she's a huge cheetah.
Maybe. But even adult male cheetahs only go up to like 150 pounds.
I don't know. Maybe she's mega cheetah.
She's mega cheetah. Well, maybe. So he decides that he wants to start asking her questions. Good choice, I rate. Her name is Aaliyah Carver, and she does not want to say where she's from, which, fair. I would not trust this guy either, okay? She says that she needs the arrow removed quickly and that she is going to heal real easy once it gets out. And he's like, you don't pull out pointy things when they're in, you wait for the vet to come and check you out.
Okay.
So he's a little bit wigged out about the idea of pulling the arrow out, obviously, especially because,
She can't pull it out in her human form? She can't just...
well, I don't
Give you the little Yankee
I think
yank?
she could. She's asking him to do it.
Okay.
But I think he noticed that it's like a serrated arrowhead or something and that it's going to rip when it comes back out. And he's like, it's going to make it worse. This is when the book introduces toxic masculinity into the picture.
Great. I was hoping that would come in soon.
I know. Well, you know, it's this kind of book, so. And he's a cop, I guess. I don't know. So there's some shit here about him being a real pussy because he's too afraid to pull the arrow out.
Oh.
And how his nerves are, quote, screaming like a girl.
Oh.
And I write, what the fuck, dude? This was written by a woman. And this theme is going to continue through the whole book, okay? It's going to just stay with us. And then he pulls the arrow out and she screams and she cries. And then she's like, thank you so much. And then he ruins a perfectly good Afghan by using it to staunch the bleeding. Like he shoves it in like you're supposed to. But that must have scratched because it's like...
An Afghan?
It's an Afghan, so it's probably like acrylic yarn if I had to guess.
Yeah. Well, she knows hunting, but she doesn't know Afghans.
Yeah. Well, we're going to learn a lot about that.
Oh.
So when he looks at it after like putting a lot of pressure on it, he can tell that it's already healing. So when she's in her human form, she basically like piccolos herself back together. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yes.
Do you really?
I am imagining that she's like just pulling the pieces back together.
Okay, do you know who Piccolo is?
No.
Okay, in Dragon Ball Z, the character Piccolo can just heal himself whenever he wants to. Like, he gets an arm chopped off and he can just shoot out a new arm.
Oh.
Okay, so she is Piccolo. She can, like, heal herself really quickly. It's going to take her a few days. It's not Piccolo shoot an arm out immediately, but if she stays in her human form, she can heal pretty fast.
Okay.
And she just keeps saying, trust me, it's gonna be fine. And he keeps freaking the fuck out because she's a huge wound on her leg. So he bandages up her wound and he's horny as fuck because she's naked and hot and little.
He hasn't given her clothes to wear?
No.
No sweats?
No.
I don't believe this was actually written by a woman.
I know, but I looked her up. She's real. She's written like 60 books.
But like, do you
Most of
think
them
it's
are
just a
romances.
dude who has it as his pen name?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I believe it because like her bio is really extensive and it's got like multiple
feels-
pictures of her and it talks about her family and her husband and everything. But it feels like it was written by a man.
Yeah.
I've not read any of her other works, This one is not great. So he gets all horny and it talks about how he's trying not to stare at her curves, quote unquote. And then it shoots us the line, was he honest to God lusting over a cat? No, she wasn't just a cat. She was a woman, a breathtakingly gorgeous woman who also happened to be a cat.
He wasn't a man. He was a man.
And my note says, okay, furry, calm down. After that, perspective shifts again to Aaliyah, and her internal monologue is like, she could tell. Okay, this is a real quote. She could tell he was what her people would call a warrior. And we are led to believe that a warrior is sort of like an alpha in Omegaverse.
Okay.
So we're sort of in like, this book is earlier than Omegaverse, I think. Like earlier than Omegaverse being in popular novels.
Right.
Like Wattpad, sure, but like before it was in novels. But this feels very Omegaverse. Like he's an alpha and she can tell. And she describes how like not everybody is allowed to mate with an alpha. You have to be like a very special kind of woman in this tribe to be able to mate with an alpha.
Okay.
I'm sorry, a warrior. And that's all she's ever wanted in her whole life is to be chosen to mate with a warrior.
Okay.
So she's really turned on because she can tell just on his vibes. And it was really vague after that. But this will keep coming up.
Okay.
So he sits down on the couch next to her and she admits to him that part of the reason she kept shifting up on the mountain is because when she's anxious or afraid, she loses control of it.
Okay.
And I really thought that was going to come back. It didn't. It didn't. So then we get more Aaliyah lore. When she was a kiddo, she lived in Alaska.
Okay.
Alaska. That is where she was born.
All right.
Okay.
As a cheetah?
As a cheetah.
Was she born as a cheetah?
No, she was born as a human baby who could shift into a cheetah.
Weird.
And she did not have a lot of control of it as a kid, like less control than most shifter kids.
Oh, okay.
So her family moved to Africa to give her an opportunity to be with other cheetahs and to shift as much as she needed to with safety. She spent more time in her animal form than her human form when she was a kid. Once she could control her shifts more, they moved back to their home in Alaska. And my notes get really angry about what the fuck is a cheetah shifter doing in Alaska? And why is she so unused to Colorado winter if she's from Alaska? She keeps saying she's so not used to how cold it is, but she's from Kodiak. I don't understand. And I'm really upset about it. The Alaska thing threw me for a loop, okay? It really fucked me up. Anyway, so she was visiting some non-shifter cheetah friends, just her friends who are cheetahs.
Okay.
Okay, in Africa. And while she's hanging out with her friends, she gets scooped up by the poachers.
Hold on. I need to ask this question out loud.
Mm-hmm.
How do you schedule a vacation with cats?
You don't, you just show up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just think that's a little rude.
I don't think the cheetahs thought that was rude. They're probably just happy to see her.
I hope
They don't
so.
have like jobs that she's interrupting.
That you know of.
That's fair. I don't.
Maybe they're working cheetahs.
One of those cheetahs is the manager at a Wendy's. So she got scooped up by poachers who just steal animals and then they bring them back to the States to let rich people hunt them near them instead of having to go to Africa to hunt them. That's like their
Convenient.
whole thing.
All right.
Yeah, so Duncan was right. He just like guessed the whole plot.
All right.
She was captured 6 months ago
Holy
and has been in
shit.
captivity the whole time.
That's a long time.
So she was in her cheetah form for that whole 6 months because it wasn't safe to shift into a woman because then the poachers would know that there's cheetah women shifters in the world.
Right.
Yeah, she didn't want to reveal her people's secrets to the poachers, which is part of the reason that she didn't just shift into human form in front of them in Colorado.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is the rest of this entire series the other animals on the mountain that somehow were all
No.
also...
She
okay.
was the only one who got captured who was a shifter.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for asking. So anyway, she tells that story and then she gets all sweepy. She gets all sweepy. And Duncan tucks her into bed, but I guess she was wearing clothes. Because I wrote here she strips naked.
Nakeder.
So she talks about how like fabric makes her itchy.
Okay.
So she doesn't like to wear clothes or use regular blankets because they feel too scratchy.
Oh, she's a nudist cheetah.
Apparently. I am going to say that for maybe 3% of this book, she is wearing clothes.
Okay.
Yeah. So she strips naked in front of Duncan and begs to sleep without any scratchy fabric. So she drapes her with a bearskin rug, which feels creepy in context. And she gets all snuggly and she goes, Papa. And then she falls asleep.
Is the bear her papa?
Well, that's the vibe, right? Is that like being snuggled up against the bearskin makes her feel like she's with her dad. I know. And it's really weird and a little bit infantilizing, and it's very strange.
Yes.
Yeah.
Super strange.
Super strange. So she falls asleep and Duncan goes and like hangs out in the living room.
Yeah.
And then she has a sexy nightmare.
A sexy nightmare?
I am assuming it's a sexy nightmare because she's like moaning in her sleep.
Is this from Duncan's perspective?
Yes.
Okay.
She's like moaning in her sleep and writhing around and like looking all worried. And he comes in to comfort her and wakes her up and she like pounces on him.
Like she's afraid?
No.
Oh.
Like she wakes up from the nightmare. She like jumps on him, like hugs him and is like, we need to fuck right now.
So it wasn't a nightmare.
It was a sexy nightmare.
It totally was just her having a sex.
She's like having a wet dream.
Yeah.
She's like, if we don't fuck right now, I will lose my mind.
You woke me up before I finished and now I need you to do the job.
Yeah. And he's like, no, we can't. You're injured. And she's like, I literally do not care. And his inner monologue says he had his arms full of a curvaceous Hellcat intent on rubbing herself over every inch of his body. And he was saying shit like, let's slow down.
What the fuck?
That is a direct quote. And then they fuck. He gets over it and they fuck. This sex scene is so long. How long would you say, like in minutes, because we listen to audiobooks, right?
Yeah.
Would you say the average sex scene is in an erotic novel that we have read before?
Like including foreplay?
Yeah.
Okay, it's usually like a full of pages, so like never longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah, like 10 minutes seems about right. Like you get a 10-minute sex scene, that's a pretty long one.
Yeah.
So what I went ahead and did, because it was getting really long, like I was listening to this while I was driving and I got all the way from here to a friend's house and it wasn't done yet. And I was like, this is really long. So I went back and I found where it started and I put in for every sex scene in this book time codes to see how long they were. This first one is 22 minutes long.
Holy shit.
It is multiple chapters.
The sex scene is multiple chapters?
2 chapters.
That's unreal.
And I sent you...
Does it switch perspectives?
Yes, I think so. I think one chapter is Duncan and one chapter is Elena.
But it's not like they go back to the beginning and you get to read the second. No, it's like,
it just continues. And I sent you a text earlier this week that was like, this sex scene could fill out a bingo sheet.
Yes.
It has everything. I didn't even write down a description of the sex scene. I just wrote a bullet point list of what's in it. Okay.
Okay.
Nipple play.
Good.
Oral. For her. Not for him.
Perfect.
Edging.
For
her.
Her. Okay.
And for him.
Good.
Edging. Lots of talk about condoms, which was nice.
Okay.
Like he makes it a clear point to go and get a condom. Fingering twice.
2 different sessions.
2 different times.
What interrupted?
Oral.
Oh.
So he fingers her, he gives her oral, he fingers her again.
Okay.
I wrote clit worship. What I meant by that was...
I think that sounds nice.
Yeah. What I meant by that was like he spends a really long time doing all kinds of things to her clit.
Oh.
Which was great. She loved it.
He found it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Immediately.
Proud of Duncan.
He knew exactly where it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we should all get law enforcement
degrees. Clearly it's working for him.
Yeah.
There was foot stuff.
What?
He sucked on her toes.
He likes foot stuff?
She likes foot stuff.
She likes foot stuff.
She was very aroused by the foot stuff.
You think if she's in her cat form, you have to lick all 4 paws?
I don't know.
Can we email this author?
Yeah.
Do you think
So
she'll
can
respond to
answer.
me?
Maybe.
I'd be like, do you have to lick? That's the title of the
email her
email.
from
That
the
will be the
podcast email.
subject. Do you have to lick all 4 paws?
Just read Wild. Have a question. Oh, this one says that licking and kissing up the whole body thing. You know when they do that where they so he was licking her toes and then he starts kissing up her legs And
Top
then-
of her toes?
No, the whole toe. Like the whole toe in his mouth.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
She hasn't even showered.
he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, there might
showered.
there might be literal shit on her feet.
She was running through the forest naked, so
Yeah.
who knows? And she just ate a raw steak, so. Okay, so my next bullet point just says a generous lover. He was pretty generous. He was like, I'm not going to do anything for me. I'm not going to let her touch me. I'm not going to like touch myself until I think she's fully satisfied or like ready to go.
All right.
And then face down, ass up.
Okay.
They determined face down, ass up was the best position because of her leg, because it meant that her leg wouldn't move as much.
Oh, okay.
And he wouldn't have to like prop it up and hold it. Like it could just, the wound could be fine.
Okay.
And then they had simultaneous orgasm, which is nice.
Magic.
And then at some point there was a hand job, but I don't remember where it fit in. So that all happened in the first sex scene.
Okay.
It was crazy.
Lengthy.
It was super lengthy.
Yeah. Lots of
It was
foreplay.
nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
So
both had a great time.
toe sucking. Suck toeing.
Toe sucking. Yeah, it was crazy. Suck toeing.
Just said it backwards. I didn't mean to.
So the next day, Duncan has to go to work, right? And
Yeah.
his whole job right now is find the poachers.
Yes.
And he leaves Aaliyah home alone, and she's like, I'm not gonna run off. And he's like, okay. And she does not wear pants or underpants because she doesn't want to upset her wound that's on her thighs.
Okay.
Obviously.
How high up her hip is
I don't fucking know, dude. Like, I think it's just an excuse to let her be naked.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, she walks around in like one of his flannels.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we get a little more Aaliyah lore. We find out that her mom is an eagle shifter, her dad is a Kodiak bear shifter, and her sister Kaya was a North American mountain lion shifter.
Her dad is a bear.
Her dad is a bear.
Oh, that's why she said Papa.
Okay, but don't you think that makes it a little creepier?
Super gross.
Because it's a skin. It is a bear skin rug. How fucking creepy must that be?
I love wearing you, Papa.
It's so creepy. That's some Ed Gein shit right there. That's fucked up. It's so messed up. I was waiting for you to notice that.
You have to go back. After her dad, she has other family.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So her mom's an eagle. Her dad's a bear. She has a sister, Kaya, who was a North American mountain lion, but she disappeared when Aaliyah was young.
Oh, okay.
She like disappeared. Do you notice something that is similar about the other three shifters in her family?
None of them apparently shifting, despite the fact that you get your genetics from your parents.
Yeah.
The shifters can just be any animal?
Yes. Yeah. So the animal that you are given as a shifter is not genetic. It's based on the individual. However, all three of her other family members are North American animals
Yes.
that would be found in Alaska. Mountain lions are rare in Alaska, but they do sometimes pop up there. So I like gave it a pass. Why is Aaliyah a cheetah? Why? Why? I am so upset about it. It does not make sense. I want it to make sense. It never makes sense, even when they explain it later. So just hang on to Jolene's anger. Experience it with me. I am so annoyed by it. This bothered me more than anything else.
There's
in the
a
book.
lot of pieces. I think the bear rug thing, the Papa might bother me the most.
So far.
Also, like,
You have a question. What is it?
well, because at first I was like, mammals, but an eagle isn't a mammal.
No.
It's a bird.
Is a bird. Is a bird.
So what the fuck? And if they had another kid, could it be like a hippo? Because
Yeah.
fun.
Could.
Yeah. What about a snake?
It could be a salmon for all I know.
Trash panda.
Trash panda.
What if it became something that is very easy to like hide in your house? Like
Ants. 1,000 ants.
I was thinking a dog, but yeah.
Oh,
what if it's
yeah.
a cricket?
It could be a dog too.
Ants. Earwigs.
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
There's no logic to it apparently.
What if it's a fucking kangaroo?
Oh, dude, can you imagine? your kid, your like 2-year-old child can transform into a kangaroo and just beats the shit out of people.
Well, but also here's something that unfortunately I know. So now you get to know.
Great.
And C Mann gets to know. And then anyone who is unfortunate
The
enough
whole world gets to know.
to be listening to this right now.
Yeah.
It's their chance to
In a
fast
year
forward.
from now when we post this
Kangaroos
episode.
have 3 vaginas, so I feel like this author would go for it. They have
Okay, look,
3.
here's the thing is I would say yes. Except this author's version of what is kinky is not as exciting as 3 vaginas.
But she could do it 3 times at once.
I know, but I don't think Maya Banks would go
3
there.
clit worships. I don't think they
know.
have clits.
No, we'll talk about it when we get
Just
to the third sex scene. But anyway.
Duck? Okay, sorry.
Yes. Okay. So Aaliyah is at war with herself. Mm-hmm. I need you to know the way that Aaliyah talks in this book about her family and where she is from is similar to the Disney Pocahontas movie. Do you know what I mean by that? Like the spiritualistic Native
Yes.
American exoticized version of a
Yeah.
tribe of people.
Definitely.
She refers to them as her people and her homeland and that kind of a thing. And it feels weird.
Yeah.
It feels weird. Okay. And a little bit because even coming from a character who is written as a Native American, that is already a weird caricature.
Yes.
Coming from a character who is described as a blonde girl I went to high school with feels even weirder
Yes.
and a little appropriative in a weird way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like Goldilocks when she got done raiding the bear's cottage. She also just stole Pocahontas' life.
Still Pocahontas' life.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Or like, you know, when you meet someone who did an ayahuasca thing one time and was like, it changed my life and I'm a new human and I return to this tribe once a year and experience the magic of their culture. You know, have you ever met somebody like that?
I have.
I have.
Ugh.
It felt a little bit like that.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable. I just wanted to throw that out there. Anyway, she is trying to decide if she's going to contact her family who has not heard from her in 6 months. So she could just give them a phone call.
Yeah.
She won't. And I don't know why. She says she's trying to keep them safe, but I don't know how that keeps them safe. So whatever. We move past that. She worries a bit about Duncan. She doesn't know if she can trust him, but then she talks about how much she enjoyed fucking him and that makes her trust him. And then she gets over that pretty quick.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily relate to that experience.
I don't think I would fuck somebody that I didn't trust.
Yeah, but also the idea of being like, I think I'll trust you once we fuck.
Now that we have fucked, I trust you. Like, yeah. It just is it seems like everything's in the wrong order, you know?
Uh-huh.
So then she knows for sure she cannot return home or run away until her leg is healed, at the very least.
Okay.
And that's going to be a few days. Okay, shifting to Duncan, he's trying to do some plot. While he's at the station, the old lady who originally reported that there was a lion comes into the office and is asking for updates. And she's like, did you find the cheetah? And he's like, what cheetah? Like, nobody should know about Aaliyah, right? What cheetah? And she's like, didn't I tell you that I saw a cheetah? I could have sworn that I mentioned that. And then not only does she drop the cheetah knowledge, she drops an insane amount of information about the poachers, what they look like, what kind of vehicles they're driving, how many cages were in the vehicles, where she saw them drop the cages off. I'm like, ma'am,
Hell yeah, neighborhood watch.
how did you forget to mention all of this when you saw it a week ago? Because she's like, I guess I just forgot all of this. And I was like, what? Excuse me? So now he has all that information. Nick comes in on the tail end of the conversation and is like, Duncan, you are hiding something from me. And Duncan's like, I am, but I'm not going to tell you anything about it, even though we're best friends. And then he gets a phone call and someone's like, there's a dead lion on the mountain. And Duncan's like, okay, gotta go check that out. Sorry, Nick, we'll talk later. And then he goes and finds the dead lion. And then he calls the vet and the vet actually answers. And he's like, hey, I need you to like come get a lion. And the vet's like, I am a single old man. What do you want me to do? And he's like, I want you to perform a full autopsy on this lion and give me the report back.
What?
Dolly, what do you think we're going to learn in the autopsy?
That vet is an old man.
Yeah. What do you think an autopsy on a lion that got shot could possibly tell us?
Probably that they got shot.
Probably.
And that they're dead.
We will never know because we never talk about it ever again.
Oh my god.
Come back. Does not come back.
That poor old guy.
Yeah, so while he's getting super sad thinking about how dead that lion is, he starts to think about Aaliyah and how awful it would have been if she were that lion. And then he gets rock hard.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And then he gets in his truck and he, quote, looks at his dick with disgust.
Yeah.
Which is such a funny visual because this man hops in his truck. There are other people here. And
He's
he
like,
looks
"Damn
down at his
you."
dick and he's like, ugh. And I'm sure they can see him. I'm sure everyone in town is like, what is going on with the fucking sheriff? Okay.
Oh my God.
All right. He goes home, dick hard as rocks, and he gets all weird about Aaliyah sleeping on his couch. He calls it domestic and how he feels like, quote, a man returning home to his woman.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
What's confusing?
The couch feels like that's where you put visitors who got too drunk to drive home. It doesn't feel domestic to me, but at the same time, the domestic part to me is her being only in the flannel.
Right.
Of his.
With no panties.
Not
on.
the couch.
No panties. In his flannel, she fell asleep to have a nap on the couch. Feels so domestic to him. But the weirdest part for me is that he's like, I'm returning home to my woman. And I don't know. Like, a lot of people are into that kind of possessiveness. But when it gets to that kind of speech, it feels so 1950s to me.
Yeah.
And it could be out. Anyway, he tells her that the lion died and she's like heartbroken because she became friends with all these animals while she was a cheetah. But she's not heartbroken enough to skip out on fucking. So welcome to sex scene number 2.
On her dad's skin or what?
I don't know. I don't know if the bearskin rug is still on the bed because if it
Wouldn't that horrify you? You
Dude.
make friends with animals and then you're like, let's
must
fuck
have.
on top of one of them.
They must have though because they immediately went to Pound Town when she woke up from that nightmare and she was snuggled up in that bearskin rug. They must have. That's so fucking creepy. Okay. Anyway, this sex scene is also 20 minutes long.
Okay, anything new?
Oh wait, no, it's only 10 minutes long.
Oh, now I'm disappointed.
Sorry. It's only 10 minutes long. You're going to be even more disappointed because they do this one all out of order. They are so horny for each other that he just immediately goes in dry.
Dry?
Dry.
Oh.
But she begs for it. She begs for him to just go in immediately. She's like, I need you right now. Get your dick in my pussy. But I can't believe it. They both came in under 10 minutes after he went in dry. I can't fucking believe it.
Now just imagine that's how she talks.
It kind of is.
Like, Papa.
That's the
Get
accent.
in my
It's such a
pussy.
weird accent. Such beautiful English, but in the weirdest accent. My people
Hello?
would call you a warrior. So they both come from just P&V, dry P&V, and she rolls over and she's like, Duncan, that was so perfect and so amazing. Can you do it again? Or do you need a minute?
Oh.
And
good.
I think it said something like his dick sprang into action or something.
Dun dun dun.
And yeah, and so I wrote, now she wants to do it again. Like, no shit, she wants to do it again. He skipped over all the goddamn foreplay. She needs a do-over.
Sir, you don't get to clit worship one time and then just get the V.
And I need to really fast take a moment to find the text from this scene because it is literally insane.
Well, spring into action.
I'm gonna spring into action.
Dun dun dun.
Okay, here it is. Okay, so I just want to read you this scene because so they've had sex once. This is the introduction to the second round. I included this all in the same sex scene, so this is all in the same 10 minutes of listening. He is worried that he's hurt her because of her injury. Like, not like he fucked her too hard and like gave her pussy rash or anything, but like, but like that he opened up her wound. So he says, "Did I hurt you?" he asked. She smiled and reached up to touch his face. "No, I won't break, Duncan. It's a good damn thing," he growled, "because I plan to fuck your brains out." She giggled. "What, not romantic enough for you?" "Romance is highly overrated," she said dryly. "I like raw, hot, unrestrained."
What the fuck?
Yep. So that's like, this whole book is like that, where she says these incredibly like eloquent things to a certain degree. And then he just goes, "I'm gonna fuck your brains out." And I'm like, dude, you guys could not be more of a weird match if you tried. Like, it's so strange. So strange.
Romance is overrated. I'm not I'm not like other girls. I'm a cool girl.
It then like slightly
I'm a
like
cheetah
same
girl.
page lower down. He's talking about how like possessive he feels over her and how like uncontrollable his urges are. So he says
Hence the dick disgust look.
ugh. It says he loved that she was so responsive. How could his caveman instincts not be riled when she made him feel like he was the only man in the world, like no other man had ever fired her blood as he had? So, like, that's a lot of his internal monologue. He keeps talking about his caveman instincts. And I think we're supposed to understand that that's the same thing that she's talking about with him being a warrior. You know, that's the alpha part.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want there to be a plot twist so hard that it turns out he's a shifter, but he's like a chihuahua or something.
Wouldn't that be so funny? He just turns into
An ant.
1,000 ants. Okay, so I guess I did break this up into two different sex scenes because I have another time code. So that first one was 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. This next one is also 10 minutes. So 20 minutes if you combine them.
Were they combined?
Yeah, I just must have been typing this out.
But they like stopped in between.
They had a conversation.
To have
the conversation
about
that
romance.
went, let's do it again. Yeah. So now he pussy licks, but only for a little bit.
Okay.
And it feels like everything's in the wrong order. Like they did the dicking down as the foreplay to get to the pussy licking, and that feels like the wrong order. But okay. And then he refers to his cock as engorged, which made me really uncomfortable.
Oh, like syphilis? You know, like that's...
Like gonorrhea.
Yeah, like syphilis will make everything swell up, so you need more space.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why there's like history fun fact. I learned this.
Okay.
I never looked it up, so we're going to assume it's true.
Great. Perfect.
That's why with a lot of like the knight armor, they have like huge fucking areas for the dick,
Because everyone had syphilis?
and it would hurt to touch things.
Oh.
Yeah, so they
gross.
would make oversized ones so that the penis could just be free in there.
Is that what was going on with David Bowie in The Labyrinth?
Yeah, free range penis.
Syphilis?
No, probably.
Well, we're going to assume that it's just that he's really horny.
Oh, okay.
Because they have a conversation about STIs later on, actually.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we're halfway through the book. Great. Some things where I looked up some old words that she used that are stupid. She has this love affair with the word indention, which is an old version of indentation that nobody has used in like 1,000 years, but she keeps using it. And then also the word abraded instead of abrasion, which really fucks me up, but whatever. You can cut that. Anyway, the next morning she wakes up and Duncan's gone. He already went to work. She is like feeling like the cheetah half of her is going to take over at any moment. Like she needs to shift. Like if she doesn't shift, she's going to die. But she's trying to hold it together because it's not safe for her to go out on the mountain and run around as a cheetah. She'll get shot again.
She doesn't want to just shift and take a nap on the bed?
No.
Okay.
No, she needs to run. I described it. They didn't do this in the book, but my notes says she's doing her best to stave it off, but she can't hold it in much longer, like a red hot angry poop. That's how it feels. Like she's really holding it in. Like she really has to poop, but she can't because it's not safe to poop.
Why red?
I don't know.
Okay.
Red hot.
Oh.
Red hot angry poop.
Got it.
I shouldn't have put that comma there. Anyway, so she finally decides to call her parents so that she can feel a little bit better. But she gets the answering machine and she hangs up instead of leaving a voicemail. And
They don't know she's alive.
They don't. No.
They don't know where she went.
No, and
She went to Africa to chill with her cheetah buds.
and then they never heard from her again. And so she's worried that in their minds, this is Kaya all over again.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't pick up and she didn't leave a voicemail.
Is Kaya the next book?
I don't know.
Huh.
God, I hope so, because they don't really tie up that loose end. They really don't.
Do you trust that maybe the next book is just the autopsy report? The lion.
The lion. The lion was just a normal lion.
Yeah, but like loose end.
Yeah. There's
It'll
no-
just be the autopsy report.
I would love an epilogue to this book that's like, hey, by the way, this is what happens in the plot. Anyway, so while she's crying on the couch, Duncan is in a helicopter.
What?
Doing
Okay.
an air search of the mountain for the poachers.
Okay.
Finds absolutely jack shit.
Okay.
Nothing.
Naturally.
He's super frustrated, so he just kind of goes home after that. But before he goes home, he buys clothes for Aaliyah. And he gets weird looks from the shopkeeper because he's buying like women's clothes.
I bet.
Yeah.
In a small town where everybody knows him.
I don't know how she knew or how he knew her shoe size, but he bought her shoes. This is a thing for me. If shoes don't fit right, I'm very uncomfortable. You know, it's like the sensory thing. And so I'm like, don't buy her shoes without asking her what her shoe size is.
Yeah.
Anyway, he gets home and she is like wigging out like a tweaker who needs a hit. She's like rubbing her arms up and down. She's shivering. Her eyes are like flashing between cat eyes and regular eyes. And she's like, I need to shift. And if I don't, I'm going to shift on accident and I cannot be held responsible for what happens. And he's like, okay, bet. And so they drive an hour away from the house and she shifts into a cheetah right in front of him and it really freaks him out. Animorph style, genuinely. Like it's...
Does it hurt?
No, he's
like, because that's what Animorphs look like on the front.
Yeah. So he says that it looks like it hurts, and she's like, no, I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah. But it really, like, I think it traumatizes him a little bit.
Sure, because he fucked a cat.
Yeah. He's like, now I have to face this. So she runs around on the mountain for like an hour and comes back to the truck and she's all exhausted and he's worried about her because she's like super tired and he thinks that she's maybe hurt. But instead of being like hurt or falling asleep, she has a conversation with him right there in the nude on the mountain in the middle of November.
Oh, she shifted back.
Yeah, she shifted back. About
Sorry, I was imagining her being like, "Meow."
about meow, 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 meow. And he's like, I cannot understand you. No, she comes back and she shifts back and she's like decided that she is in love with Duncan. Like the running gave her clarity of mind to decide she's in love. And she tells him that she finally trusts him and that she really wants to be with him, but she has to leave in a couple of days because she has to go see her family. So she wants to make the most of the time that they have together. So they go home and
fuck again.
And then they fuck again.
Yeah.
My note says she wants to make the most of the time they have together. And for these two, that means fucking. So this sex scene is 30 minutes long. It's incredibly long.
What?
So when I told you that like more than 10% of the book is fucking, I was telling the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there's one more after this. There's so much sex in this book.
Like, well,
it has been 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they've already fucked like 4 times. Like, good for them, honestly. They just met. Okay, so here's how this one goes. He says, how do you feel about fucking in front of a fire? And she's like, well, you can if you want, but I don't think we're going to need the warmth. And he's like, okay, wait here. And he builds a fire so that they can fuck in front of the fireplace, which is like, do you remember that being like a huge romantic thing in the early 2000s? People
Yeah.
like, I want to fuck in front of a fireplace. I don't want to fuck on the floor.
Yeah.
It just sounds uncomfortable. But they probably fucked on her dead dad, so like... I'm just kidding. It's not her real
Dead dad rug!
It's not her real dad. It just looks exactly like him. So this scene is actually pretty sexy, okay? She says...
Do you think she would know, though? She hasn't seen her dad in, like, 8 months.
6 months.
You're right. 6 months and 48 hours.
6 months and 48 hours.
I don't know how long she was running from the poachers on the hill, though.
Just like one day. They had just released her.
Okay, so 6 months and 3 days. She hasn't seen her dad. Do you think that the bear could be her dad?
No, because he is in Alaska.
Well, she was in Africa.
And that's true. That's true. Okay. So he builds the fire and she says, I want to watch you strip. So he strips really slowly and sensually for her.
All right.
And she describes him in her monologue as he was beautiful, all male, powerful. He was a man. Power radiating off of him in waves. That's how waves. That's how it's described. So like there's a real thing about like male energy and power in this book.
And it is not consistent. It up and down like waves.
It's coming off of him like
it
sound
whooshes.
Waves. I'm thinking like sound waves. You know, like he's just his
like
aura.
sonar.
Like his oh. Is that what dolphins sound like? Or bats? Anyway, the point I'm trying to get is that like there's several lines like the one earlier where he calls himself a pussy for having emotions.
Yeah.
And there's several lines where he's described as like powerful and male.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of that toxic masculinity in this book that just cycles through.
Right.
Later.
In waves.
Later, there's going to be a couple of homophobic and transphobic lines as well, which are fun.
Oh.
Yeah, so get prepped. Okay. So while he's standing there, stripping naked, she asks him, what are your fantasies?
Okay.
And he says that's a loaded question.
Oh.
And she says, okay,
I've
let me be
always
more
wanted
specific.
to fuck a cat.
Yeah, like she really has to pull this out of him. Okay. She's
right.
like, okay, let me be more specific. What are some things you've wanted to do that you've never gotten to try? And he's like, I like blowjobs.
He's never gotten a blowjob?
No, he's gotten a blowjob.
Okay.
Yes, that's the thing, is he's like, well, I'd love for you to suck my dick. And she's like, that's not a fantasy, that's just a blowjob. What are your fantasies? And he's like, do you really want to hear this? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. I want to do everything that you've ever wanted to do. And he's like, I want to fuck your mouth. I want you to take my cock deep in your throat and swallow all of my cum.
Okay.
I'm like, that's still just a blowjob. It's just like a deep-throated blowjob. So I'm highly disappointed already. I'm like, fuck this man. This is your fantasy, is you just want a deep-throated blowjob? Like, that's pretty vanilla for a fantasy, but okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think it implies that he's holding her and thrusting rather than she's doing the movement.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Light internal choking.
Sure, but like, I still think that's pretty vanilla for a fantasy. I don't know.
For a fantasy. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and so does she. She's like, okay, great. We'll put that on the list. What else? And he's like, no, I gave you one. Now you give me one. And she's like, okay.
Equality, baby.
No, she doesn't want equality.
No.
She wants a man.
Well, that's
And
her fantasy.
she wants anal.
Oh, all right.
And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Your deepest, darkest fantasy is anal? Come on. Somebody asked to piss on a person's chest or something. Someone be like, I want you to wear, I want you, Sheriff Duncan, to wear panties while I watch you come. Like,
Yeah.
Or like,
I want to put a collar on you.
let me tie you up. Like, there's not even any bondage. Come on. These vanilla ass pricks. And he's like,
Fire, anal.
he's like, you're kidding, right? Chicks don't like anal. That's a quote. And
What do you think about getting that for merch?
you're kidding, right? Chicks don't like anal. And she's like,
Bumper
well,
sticker.
she's like, I really like anal because I can like control my orgasm better. So there's like some orgasm control in there, but they're not really picking up on that's a kink. But he calls her super kinky for liking anal. And I'm like, motherfucker, everyone, like 50% of the people on the internet are like, I just love anal. Like, it's so vanilla for a fantasy. And this book is not old enough for that to be kinky. I don't know. I'm being very judgmental.
Yeah.
I love that people love anal. I love that there's anal in this book. I do not love that he's talking to her like she's some sort of depraved dominatrix because she's willing to put a dick up her ass. Fuck that shit. Anyway, they can't top that. She like asks, what else? And he's like, I don't have anything that's gonna top anal.
What?
And she's like, well, what's the next thing on your list then? And he says, you getting naked. And she's like, that's funny. That's the next thing on my list too. And then they just fuck. And that's it. Anyway, sorry, let me tell you about the actual, but that's it for their fantasies.
When they were done having anal, because no prep. I don't know what she ate.
No
other
prep.
Than raw steak.
She did have some real food. I skipped over that.
Oh, okay. Like anal safe, or was it chili? Like, come on.
I don't know. Eggs, I think? I think it was eggs.
That doesn't feel safe to me.
I don't remember which day that was on,
I need you to Google this. I don't want it on my history.
Anal safe foods. I can. Do you want me to?
Just eggs.
Okay, hold on.
Also,
Are
what kind?
eggs
Scrambles?
and anal safe food.
Do cats like eggs?
Yeah.
We can search that question.
Yes, eggs can be safe.
What is this?
Oh, wait, no, this is just talking about hemorrhoids. I want to put an egg up my butt. Is it a good idea? Is that what you're looking at too?
I warn you, please do not put an egg up your rectal cavity, although it will slide in with enough lubricant. Once an egg is lodged in there, it will not budge. The only way to take the egg out is to break it, which will result in bleeding and an expansion of your sphincter. Hey, while that word is not my favorite, spelling it is kind of fun.
Oh, it's important to know your trigger foods and limit these foods a few days before you have anal sex. Take extra note of spicy foods, eggs, red meat, caffeine, alcohol, and junk food. These are common triggers. I'm pretty sure those are the only things he has in his fridge.
Yeah.
So she's
No wonder none of the
not
girls
good.
he's ever been with.
Well, and
hate
like,
anal.
I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how this sex goes, so you're going to know that it's not a good time.
Oh.
So he fucks her mouth.
Got it.
Okay, because that was the first thing on his list.
Duncan.
He Duncans all over. And you're right.
I can see myself out. It's fine.
You are correct. You are correct that it is more like he is holding her head and doing all the movement.
Yeah.
But this part is from her perspective, which I thought was really interesting. And like she describes how it feels to have the cock in her throat and shit. So I thought that was pretty interesting for a deep throat blowjob scene.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever read Deep Throat before, so that was kind of cool.
I have, but not from the woman's perspective. Or not necessarily woman, but not from the mouth's
bottom's
perspective.
The bottom's perspective. Yeah. So once he comes in her mouth and she swallows it all, they talk about doing anal. And she's like, well, we need to talk sexual history because we've been using condoms up until now, but I don't like using condoms for anal, which is a wild take. And he's like, well, we can talk sexual history if you want to, but like, what information are you looking for? And she just jumps right into it. She's like, oh, I've had a lot of different partners in the last few years, but it's all been safe sex except once 2 years ago when I had anal sex with a partner. And I've been tested since then.
Okay.
And he's like, oh, cool. Well, thank you for making this super not awkward. That was really awesome. And he said...
Is that sarcasm?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, did I use my sarcasm voice?
No, but it just sounded like maybe...
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
No, he was like, I thought it was cool that they actually mentioned that. He was like, hey, this is super non-awkward. That's awesome. And then he says he hasn't had sex in like a year before her. And before that, he was like a couple of partners and one committed relationship that lasted 2 years. And she asked a weird amount of questions about it. And he was like...
Not about the sex?
No, she wanted to know if he was heartbroken over her. Oh. And he was like, that was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And she's engaged to a lawyer now, and I don't give a shit because we weren't right for each other. And she's like, oh, okay, fuck me. This is weird. So yeah, they had like a huge conversation about like being clean, and that was cool. And then he is like, fuck, I don't have any lube. And she's like, do you have any olive oil? That'll do just fine. And he grabs his olive oil, but then he also grabs baby oil, and she makes some crack about why would a grown man have something as girly as baby oil in his house.
What?
And then he ditches the olive oil and chooses the baby oil. And I Googled this. It is universally not recommended to use baby oil as lube for multiple reasons. First of all, it dissolves condoms, which is like not a problem for them. Okay.
Right.
Second of all, it causes major rashes in vaginas. And I assume buttholes, but I didn't find any data on that. But it's also too slippery to be lube. Like, it makes the experience not fun because it's too slippery.
Ah.
But it does cause, like, yeast infections and stuff. So, bad choice. He had olive oil. Olive oil is always recommended, apparently, for butthole.
Always?
Apparently. They said vegetable oil and olive oil are a great choice if you don't have anything else on hand or if you're allergic to other lubes, which I didn't know. So, that was good to know.
Yeah.
So, then they do some really, really light foreplay. She's like, they talk about how this is a fantasy for him. And he says, well, I think anal is one of those things that every man in his right mind fantasizes about doing, but would never advertise because it's implied in the context of the book that it makes you look gay.
Wow.
Because you want to stick a dick in a butt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
or
that's
only interested in very kinky women.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it is also stated multiple times that no woman in her right mind would want to do anal unless she was super kinky, which I remember this being a trope.
Yeah.
But like seems so old-fashioned now. And then she says, the way to get a woman to agree to do anal with you is to get her so aroused that she'll do anything to get off.
What?
Like, anal is the last resort. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So anyway, then he fucks her in the ass.
Why wouldn't these women just masturbate?
I know. I'm like, there's a really easy
somebody
solution
was
to
like,
that. It's just take care of it yourself.
Yeah, like
get a
if somebody's
vibrator.
gonna get me that ready to go and then be like, the only way I'm doing this with you is a way you don't want it to be done under the rules of this world.
Yeah.
I would be like, great, I have fingers.
Yeah. I'm like, I am not into anal, mostly because of the poop thing, right? I am very worried about the poop thing. I don't know anything about it. I'm not willing to risk it. But like, I know women who are into anal.
Yeah.
I know women who prefer anal.
Yeah.
It is wild to me that this is considered.
But
a
those
super
women are
kinky thing.
incredibly kinky.
They're so kinky.
They're the kinkiest women
They're the
you've ever met.
kinkiest women. Anyway, so they do butt sex and it's fine. It was all right. It was pretty
all right.
vanilla. I don't have anything else to say about it.
It was vanilla butt sex?
It was pretty
Okay.
vanilla. It was face down, ass up, like all the other sex they've been having throughout the entire
Well,
book.
He really likes to imagine that he's only having anal.
Yeah, well, he just really doesn't want to hurt her leg, which makes sense. But it means that their options for positions are pretty limited. Anyway, Duncan is freaked out after that.
Oh, yeah.
He has
Did
such
she shit?
No. No. But he does come and clean her up. Like, he goes and gets a rag and, like, does aftercare, which is kind of nice.
Okay.
You don't hear about aftercare that often.
No.
But he's all shook. He's, like, freaked out because the sex was so good, but he feels like it was more than just sex. Like, oh my God, he felt an emotional connection during sex? What? Is that even possible?
It was the anal.
And this is where the book gets really Omega-versy. And they never explicitly say it, but it is sort of like a bonded mating kind of vibe, you know? Okay. And Aaliyah knows exactly what's going on, but she does not explain it or describe it at all during the rest of the book.
Sounds fucked up.
It's a little bit fucked up because he's freaked out.
It feels like she's kind of like tricked him into a mated
A
bond.
little bit.
Yeah.
But not on purpose, but like she's not taking it back. She's not doing anything to help it. Anyway, at this point, I realized that she's not sensitive to fabric anymore, I guess, because she started to wear clothes and they're all snuggled up in the blanket and he keeps like covering her up with comforters. And
Okay.
that continuity error really pissed me off.
That makes sense.
So they fall asleep and the next morning, a gunshot goes off and wakes Duncan up.
Oh.
And he's like, this gunshot was super close to my house.
Yeah.
And Aaliyah's not there. So he throws on some clothes, he runs outside, and Nick is outside in front of his truck holding a rifle, pointing it at the mountain. And Duncan sees Aaliyah as a cheetah out there, her like huddled up in a little ball.
Yeah.
And Nick is
Wait, what? In the mountain?
on like the mountainside, yeah.
How did he just spot her?
The cabin is on the mountainside.
But like he just spotted her?
Yeah, she's not that far away.
Okay.
She's like 30 feet away.
Okay.
And Nick is like pointing his rifle, ready to shoot at her again. And Duncan tackles her. It's like ready to beat the shit out of him. Sorry, yes. Duncan tackles Nick and is like ready to beat the shit out of him. And then runs to go and get Aaliyah and check on her and make sure she's okay. She's fine. She's just freaked out. She's just super scared. And then he picks up Aaliyah. She shifts back into human form.
As he picks her up?
I think so.
Oh, awkward.
So she's naked.
Yeah.
And a woman now.
Yes.
And Nick is like, who is that? What just happened?
Yeah.
There was Cheetah, now is Lady. What?
I feel like I would have some questions too if I were Nick.
Well, and he's had questions the whole book, and Duncan's just been like shoving him off.
Yeah.
Right? So Nick is like, I need answers. And Aaliyah's like, well, Duncan is like, we have to tell him. There's no other way. If I don't tell him, he's going to go and tell all the townspeople that something fucky is going on and he's not going to have the right information. But if we tell him now and we explain why he has to keep it secret, then we'll be able to trust him, I swear. And Aaliyah's like, fine, okay. They tell him all about it. And he's like, I don't believe you. And Duncan's like, I don't know how to tell you anything more. And Aaliyah like gets up. And, like, she was wearing a blanket around her to shield her nudity. She lets the blanket fall. Nick is, like, completely frazzled by a naked woman.
Right.
Duncan is all Omega-verse protective, like, don't look at my naked lady. He keeps growling, which is, like, a thing. And can you just imagine? Just this guy keeps going, grrr. But, you know, her dad's a bear, so she must be used to it.
Papa.
So then she shifts right in front of Nick to prove it to him. And he's like, what? And that makes him go, I am so sorry. I shot at you. You're a whole human. I could have killed you. I'm like, you could have killed that cheetah too, like completely unnecessarily. Like, I don't know what your plan was. I don't know why you were going to shoot at that cheetah. That didn't make sense either.
Yeah.
But like, okay. And then Nick reveals that the poachers have been spotted at a pharmacy in town where one of them was trying to get treatment on his meat grinder hand. And together, they all bring their information together and hatch a plan. Duncan and Nick are going to head a team of cops in a ground unit to find the poachers. And Aaliyah is going to use her super cat sniffer to locate them. She's going to follow their scent trail, tell them where the poachers are so that the ground team can move in and catch them.
Is she gonna wear a collar? How's she gonna carry the walkie-talkie and or cell phone?
So I was really confused about that too.
She's just gonna meow at the top of the mountain.
Yeah, so Duncan is freaked out about this plan. He
She's
doesn't
gonna
want
use
Aaliyah
the
involved.
toxic man sonar.
Yeah, she's gonna go, oh. No, so I was confused about that too. But because Duncan's so freaked out about her safety, he just ends up going with her.
Okay.
Yeah. Once Nick leaves, it's time for more Aaliyah lore. She's like, okay, now that we're in a team, let me info dump on you. We find out a little bit more about Aaliyah's sister Kaya, but really not a lot. Nothing really important. We find out a ton of shifter lore. Okay, so the shifters are an ancient race of people. They're not actually called the shifters. That's what I'm calling them. They don't have a name, but they are an ancient race of people. Aaliyah specifically says, this is the book, okay? This is the book says this. We came to the Americas before the Native Americans. I guess you could say we are the original Native Americans. Yeah.
As woolly mammoth or what?
I don't know. Okay, I don't know. All I know is that came out of the mouth of a blonde white girl who lives in Alaska.
That tracks, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it gave me the ick so bad. And I was like, I knew there was something weird about the way this girl talks. I knew there was something weird about it. And this is what was weird about it. Okay, their people keep no written records. Every piece of their history has been transferred down the generations through verbal...
Yeah, oral histories.
Oral histories, which I know is a thing, but if they're truly the oldest race of people on the planet, why is it that Aaliyah knows the entire oral history herself? That seems unrealistic. She's not a historian.
No, but oral histories are like, you hear them at family events
like
and stuff
stories.
like that. But you hear them enough that they become kind of like tradition, lore.
Sure.
Like, yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that. It just
But
seems unrealistic.
Groups that don't have written word, like you're used to carrying more memorization, like of stories and stuff like that. And so it'd be more common, I think, that
It's
like
transferred
people,
more.
yeah, that like all of the people have to hold it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that.
I mean, unless she was like, and then Dave married Suzanne, and Suzanne had 3 boys. Like,
Yeah. No, that's the thing is I'm like, that's so much history. But you're right. It's probably just like the oral traditions, the stories that they know. Okay. So she explains to Duncan the way that shifters get their powers. So it's important to note that not everybody of their race of people is gifted with an animal.
oh,
So it's kind of cool that both she and Kaya and both of her parents are shifters. Like their entire family are shifters.
oh my God, it's like in Kanto.
Yeah, that's like Encanto. Kind of.
That,
Yeah.
I don't know, that fucked up the main character a
It's
lot.
like Encanto, except everybody is that little boy who talks to animals. They're all just that guy.
Except for the ones who are not gifted.
Right.
Yeah, perfect.
So you are gifted your animal by, I think she called him the spirit guide, okay? For realsies.
Oh,
For realsies.
my God.
For realsies. And she's like, I guess you could say that he is our god. Is he the same as your god? I can't say. But to us, he is very real.
Okay.
And he gifts you your animal in the womb. Okay. So she's like, her mom could describe how she felt when she knew that fetus Aaliyah had been gifted her animal.
Because she
She could feel it in her soul or something.
because she was a cheetah in her mom's womb, or what? Like,
no,
she
just
was
because
like,
she'd been
"Whoop."
spiritually gifted. Like it was a spiritual feeling. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not a spiritual person. I don't know. I don't know how to describe this. I have not been gifted an animal.
All right.
So it's all about like the soul of the person, I guess.
And she is a cheetah by soul?
Yeah, so like the spirit guy, Brother Bear? The movie Brother Bear?
Yep.
It felt like that.
Perfect.
And so like your animal might not be the same as your family, like it probably won't be. So the question I want to ask is, and you're not going to know the answer to this, the question I want to ask Maya Banks is, so why did you choose for Aaliyah to be the only one in her whole family, and presumably her, like, neighborhood of shifter people, who was not a North American animal? Why did spirit guides say, you're going to be born into a climate that is not natural for you? You're going to need to travel to the other side of the world in order to be comfortable. What the fuck, spirit guide? What a shit-ass decision.
Spirit guide gives his toughest challenges to his toughest warriors.
So that's why Aaliyah is a cheetah who lives in Alaska.
Okay, was her sister still there when they moved to Africa?
No.
Okay.
No, she went missing before that. Aaliyah was really little and only has vague positive memories of Kaya.
So, sister goes missing.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, well, let's go to Africa.
Yeah.
Bear and eagle mate.
Bear eagle. Yes, and they describe how it's really difficult for the beagle to be human for that long.
Yeah.
They had to hold it together for years because it would not have been normal to see them in Africa. Right. And so it wasn't safe to
They really should have went to a zoo.
They really should have just had another North American.
That.
They should have thought about this before they had kids.
They really should have. But I do love that the idea of like them having like a relationship name is Beagle.
Yeah. Beagle.
Bear, eagle, Beagle.
Yeah, Beagle. So yeah, that's a whole thing. So that's the Aaliyah lore.
Okay.
I need you to know, Kaya never comes back up. This is the last we will hear about Kaya. And it's only like the second time we've heard about her.
Wow.
Yeah. So cool.
Well, I guess it would have been weird if she came up in other times because the rest of the book they're fucking. Yeah. So that might be like a weird time to talk about your sister. It's just a loose
end. Like it never comes up at the ending. It's just a loose end. Anyway, this book was only 4 hours long. It was super short. Okay. So after the lore drop, Duncan helps Aaliyah call her parents. He's like, you gotta call them. You gotta call them and let them know that you're safe. They must be super worried about you. I don't know why you haven't called them up until now. And Aaliyah's like, I tried. Anyway, so for some reason, he like dials the number for her.
Oh.
Like he does this infantilization thing where I'm like, we have seen that she's fully capable of doing these things. You do not have to carry her everywhere. He does. Yeah. You do not have to dress her like she's a baby doll. He does. You do not have to dial the phone for her. He does. It's so weird. Anyway.
Well, he had a cat growing up who couldn't do any of those things by itself.
He always called people for his cat, like the vet. He had to make all of that cat's doctor's appointments.
Mr. Scrumptious needs to come to the vet.
Oh my god. Okay, so anyway, Aaliyah calls her parents. They pick up this time. They yada yada over this conversation. We don't like hear the conversation.
What?
She just has a conversation.
That feels super important. Like, hey, I'm not dead. I'm alive.
Yeah, the way they react seems important. We don't get to hear it.
They were the poachers.
They were the poachers the whole time. No, so they're freaked out and they're like, where are you? And she's like, I don't know. And so she hands the phone to Duncan, and Duncan has a conversation with them again that we kind of get yada yada'd over, but we are told he tells them, I will keep her safe.
I put her in clothes every day.
I know that she's a cheetah. It doesn't make any difference to me. I'm going to keep her safe. And they're like, okay, bet. We'll come and get her. And then
she's a very kinky girl.
Yeah, I write
they come to get her?
Yeah, so they're going to come to get her.
Is she 17? Like, what?
Well, she doesn't have like her passport or anything. She was fucking kidnapped.
Right.
Yeah, so they're going to come and get her.
But Alaska is in America.
That's the other thing is
need a passport.
She really could have just gotten up on her own, stolen money from Duncan, probably pretty easily, and bought herself a plane ticket.
Yes.
This whole time. She is so capable of doing these things and does not do them.
Or found a way to take a bus up and take the ferry over. Like, there's so many ways.
Yep. Anyway, so immediately after that phone call, Aaliyah demands to be fucked. When I say immediately, I mean she hangs up the phone and pounces on Duncan and is like, fuck me.
Wow. Okay.
And then they have pretty regular sex, and it's only a 3-minute sex scene, but they do it condomless. Whoa. What a move in their relationship.
It's a really big deal with his engorged dick.
I know, and that's the only thing I wrote about that sex scene, so it must have been super memorable. They have 3 minutes of condomless sex, and then the next day, they enact their plan, right?
Perfect.
They go out on the mountain. I write, if you're hoping to get any closure on the poacher plotline, though, tough titties.
What?
Okay, so Aaliyah and Duncan set off on their own. They find the poachers. They call Nick. They're like, here they are. And Nick's like, got it. Cool. We're gonna head there. You guys head back. For some reason, I really spaced out during this scene. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not into action scenes.
Oh, okay,
I
good
space
to know.
out. In movies and in books, I just space out. So I spaced out. And at some point, they like get separated. Duncan and Aaliyah. But he gives Aaliyah her like, or his radio.
Okay.
It's like, if you need help, call Nick. So the poachers show up.
Oh.
And Aaliyah's in cheetah form because she's like sniffing out the thing. And the poacher with...
Where is her walkie?
Really great question. So anyway, the poacher with the meat grinder hand is like,
Got it.
that's the cat that fucked me up. Get her. I want her pelt.
Okay.
And so they hunt her down and shoot her in the shoulder.
What the fuck?
She calls Nick and radios for help. Nick calls Duncan on his cell phone. Duncan runs back down the mountain to track her. He like follows a river for God knows what reason. Oh, he saw footprints. He saw cheetah paw prints that turned into footprints after a while. And so he followed those, but then they got lost in the river. So he followed the river until the current got slow. And then he saw blood trickling in the water. And then he found her.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he picks her up. And he straight up carries her for an entire hour.
Where? Okay, I'm sorry. This meat hand guy.
And man.
Yeah, is so hell-bent on revenge that he's been checking out the mountain trying to find this cheetah so that he can kill her and keep the pelt.
Yeah.
And he hit her in the shoulder and then fucking lost her?
Yeah, I don't know. The poachers are dumb. Nick takes care of it. We don't see it happen on page. Nick just calls and is like, cool, I got 2 guys in custody. See you when I see you. Okay. Duncan carries Aaliyah 1 hour down the mountain. Like, he just carries her for an hour until he gets to his cabin.
Yeah.
And he, like, calls Nick and is like, don't look for me, okay?
Yeah.
Like, I've got Aaliyah. We're headed back to my house. Don't look for us. Like, go take care of everything else instead. And Nick's like, got it. When he gets to his house, there's a car out front and he starts to freak the fuck out. Ooh. So Aaliyah's passed the fuck out, bleeding from her shoulder for the last hour. And he puts her down on the ground out front of his house, completely naked, goes into the house, weapon drawn. There's 2 people in there. And he just points his gun at them. And he's like, who the fuck are you? And they're like, whoa, my name is Lawrence. I'm here to pick up my daughter.
I'm a bear.
You took her to the prom. We haven't seen her for 6 months. You might think now would be a great time for a Kodiak bear and an eagle to show up and defend their child against the man with a gun. That does not happen. But
now I'm starting to understand why they lost both their kids.
I know. But he does put his gun away and then he's like, okay, I'm going to go get her. And he brings her inside and puts her on the ground and she's like dying, you know?
Yes.
So her mom...
How'd they react to that?
Yeah, good question. So her mom freaks the fuck out and is like...
natural response.
She says, you were supposed to keep her safe. Which, fair. They just had this conversation yesterday. So totally reasonable response from her mom, right? Her dad is like, thank you so much for protecting her, for delivering her to us, for doing your best to keep her safe. And I'm like, sir, she does have a gunshot wound.
Yeah.
And Duncan is like...
You're welcome. I did my best.
Duncan's like broken up about it.
About the gunshot wound?
Yeah.
Okay.
He feels like he failed because he did.
He did.
And and he's like, tell her that I'm sorry and take her away from here because she's not safe. The poachers will keep hunting her.
The poachers got arrested.
I know. They're in custody. But he's like, take her far from here. And so then they do. And then the next chapter is functionally an epilogue. It takes place 2 weeks later, and Duncan is like bereft. Like, he just misses her so much.
It was good anal.
It was good anal. No woman has ever let him do that before.
Or fuck
She's
her
so
mouth.
kinky.
Yeah.
And he's like feeling super sad and like reminiscing.
Okay.
When all of a sudden there's a noise, a scratching noise at his door.
Okay.
So he goes to his door and he's like, it couldn't be. It couldn't possibly be.
It's that damn lion. No, wait,
The
the
damn
lion's
lion.
dead.
So this ending scene goes on for like way too long. I just wanted to read you the part where she scratches at the door. Okay. A light scratching noise interrupted his self-absorbed malaise. He cocked his head, thinking maybe he'd imagined it, but then he heard it again, coming from his front door. With a frown, he got up and walked cautiously to the door, his hand reaching for his sidearm that he hadn't yet taken off. There it was again. Definitely something outside his door, and getting louder and more persistent. He cracked open the door, but before he could even look out to assess the potential danger, he was flattened by a flying fur ball. He fell back as a cheetah pounced on him. His back hit the floor with a resounding thump as a golden-eyed cat licked him and nuzzled his face. Aaliyah. His surprise turned to complete and utter joy, relief, and then suddenly he found himself holding a gorgeous naked woman in his arms. You've really got to stop doing that shit, he grumbled. It's disconcerting, and it looks painful. Aren't you glad to see me? She asked as her lips part. Oh, honey, he groaned, if you only had any idea how much I've missed you. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, the cat act. I love that he's fucking his house cat.
Yep.
Second of all, telling her that she's not allowed to shift because it makes him uncomfortable to watch it.
Yeah.
It's something that is functionally necessary for her, and it gave me such, like, woman who hates her husband ick vibes, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this relationship is going to be toxic as hell, I can tell.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they'll be anal, so it's will be fine.
Yeah. He calls her honey throughout the book, which gives me two vibes. First of all, old married couple vibes. Second of all, super cute because she has honey-colored hair and golden eyes. So I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't like honey.
You don't like it? Mm-mm. Oh, honey.
I feel like, no, I don't like it.
Fair enough. I couldn't get a grasp on it because it just feels like old couple stuff.
What, like, if an auntie or, like, a grandparent said that to me, or, like,
it would feel like putting you down.
No, like that feels like a term of endearment.
Oh.
When somebody...
Not a pet name.
No.
Yeah.
It does not make me feel sexy. It's the same as sweetheart. Sweetheart
doesn't make me feel sexy.
It just reminds me of my grandma. So anytime somebody uses it, immediately I'm like...
Yeah. Fair enough. Anyway, there's like 3 more pages of them just talking to each other about how much they love each other, and it's very repetitive, and then they decide to be together forever, and he's like, you can't stay with me, this is Colorado, and she's like, if I have to control my shifting more than I used to, it'll be worth it because I'll be with you and we can do anal. And so yeah,
I'm so glad that the only people who like anal found each other.
I know, the only 2 people on earth. Yeah.
Who likes face fucking and anal.
Yeah.
It's really lucky that they happened upon each other.
They're just so kinky.
Yeah, they are.
They're so kinky, you guys.
Yeah.
And they live happily ever after the end.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
Hopefully she brought some clothes or some shit with her.
I don't know. She was naked on the doorstep. Here's the thing, is she doesn't like wearing clothes.
No, but like she should have some like belongings or something like that she brought with.
I feel like there's a lot of
maybe an
loose ends here.
ID.
How is he going to explain
wallet.
her to the townspeople? Where the fuck did she come from?
I found her in the woods.
Nick knows.
That's all he has to say. Nick knows.
Nick knows. Yeah. I don't know. It's okay. Let me do this.
One of the poachers kidnapped her. I saved her. We fell in love.
Yeah. So that's the end of the book. So you know this. I don't think I said this on the podcast, except on a part that we cut. I originally started reading this book like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I got an hour in and I was like, nope, fuck this. Because I got to the part where he like brought her in and was like feeding her raw meat. And I was like, this is getting weird. I don't know where the cat begins and the woman ends. I don't know. Is she a cat first and a woman second? And, you know, they do talk about, like later in the book, they talk about sexual history and she does not list any cheetahs. So I don't think she fucks as a cheetah, but it is not explicitly.
Well, you don't know. Brian could have been a cheetah.
Brian?
I'm just naming a generic dude.
She could have done anal as a cheetah. We don't know for sure.
That's true.
That's true. It's well known that
or she
cheetahs
could have
love
been
anal.
a cheetah during one of her sex.
Yeah, that is
dates.
not brought up. So yeah, I mean, I hate to say this, but the sex scenes themselves were actually pretty hot. And
Yeah.
they're super long. And this is like, I would describe this as an erotic novel
Yeah.
way more than most of anything else we've read.
Yeah.
In fact, that is how I found it. I was looking on Libby at our library's list of books, and I was searching just the different genres that they had available.
Yeah.
And I went to the erotic tag, and there were only like 3 books on it, and this was one of them.
Wow. Okay.
I would not call this a good book. If I had to rate it on like Goodreads or a Storygraph, if I had to rate it on Storygraph, pretty sure I would give it like 2 stars.
Yeah.
Because it's not well written.
No.
And the plot is not tied up. Like, I don't feel like the plot ended.
Yeah.
But the sex was all right. I think I'd give the sex like a 4.
All right.
Except for the part where they think that anal is the kinkiest thing on earth.
Right.
That's so fucking annoying. Would I read the other books in the series? No, but I would read their descriptions to know what they're about.
Yes.
So yeah.
All right.
How did you feel about it?
Terribly. Thank you for asking. This was shocking is a good word.
In what way?
Well, I learned that anal is the kinkiest type of sex.
It is.
Next to face fucking. And
More than face fucking.
more than, yes. And that was news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like I've seen porn that's way weirder than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have sent me pterodactyl porn. Thank you for that, by
You're
the
welcome.
way.
I just feel like anal is so front page of Pornhub. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to dig for it. You should have to dig for kinky porn.
The issue here.
Maybe my
No, hold on.
skewed.
Hold on. The issue here is the natural next question in this conversation is, what is kinky then?
Jolene.
Fair enough.
But I don't know if I want to know what you've Googled, and I don't know that
C Mann?
feels like he signed up for this.
Anyway, thanks for listening to me spew that from my womanly portal.
Yeah. Technically need to call it a cheetah portal. Lady cheetah.
Oof. That book sucked, Jolene. What book are we discussing next month?
Next time, we'll have a guest host on to tell us all about The Dragon's Bride by Katie Robert.
Do you think that the Dragon's Bride will do anal?
Find us on Instagram at Womanly Portal Podcast.
Email us at womanlyportalpodcast@gmail.com.
Thanks goes out to Chloe Watts for our music.
A special thanks to C Mann for editing this hot garbage.
I really think Aaliyah's gonna need to unpack that whole bearskin rug thing in therapy.
Sounds like a euphemism for a fart.